Hey guys, for the third time. We are having some technical issues with pulling in Miss Temple for the interview. So we're going to try one more time and see what's going on. Hopefully the request. I wonder if she can send hers first. Meek, don't send your request yet. Let me see if we can pull her on and then I can pull you because I know that's what we did before. Let me see if I can write her really quickly. Let me let her know that I'm waiting for her request first. So once she's in, then we'll just let her see if she can just go ahead and send her request first, and then we'll pull Danielle in. We're gonna have this conversation now. So let's see. Okay, here we go. All right, so it's waiting. Yes. Okay. Finally. Oh my goodness. Okay. Oh, so now I'm gonna bring my co-host in. Danielle, you can go ahead and sing yours. All right, here we go. So let's see. No issues.
Yes. Finally.
We had to figure this out.
Listen, it took 3 tries, but we got it.
I was like, Lord, we're going to have this talk.
I was clicking that button and nothing was happening, which is unusual. Usually you click it and it was like doing nothing.
Yeah, and then I know like our last interview, like we had to kind of find a way to maneuver. I was like, wait, there's this little box up here, the drop down, and we doing that and had to bring in. So, but I'm glad we're here. That's what's important.
Yes.
So guys, thank you. So as everybody start coming in, so guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I know there was some technical issues. Forgive us, but once again we're here with another amazing, I mean, just pure raw talent of an artist, Miss Felicia Temple. Thank you. I am so deeply honored to be able to sit here and be able to speak with you. For myself and Danielle, you know, I'm so excited to hear what you have to say because you have such a phenomenal story.
Yes. And an amazing voice.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Listen, I've been a fan since.
We're gonna get into it.
I've been a fan since forever. I watch your lives. I was like, oh my God, she's just so pure. I love it. But thank you. It definitely it's an honor to definitely sit here and be able to talk with you. So let's get into it, guys. You already know I am just one of your hosts, Aasha Lewis Redway, and my beautiful co-host,
Danielle Meeks.
All right, so you already know every week we bring you the most amazing, the most wonderful artists that be able to sit down and share their gems with you and regarding their career path and their music and basically and how they're rocking it, out here. All right, so Miss Felicia Temple, thank you. Let's get into this. I mean, you a Jersey girl.
Yes, right. I'm a Jersey girl. Try to
So, I mean, definitely everything about New York and, you know, and really starting having that foundation of music, because, you know, New York is like the paramount of just one of the paramounts of when it comes to like the music industry. And you come from a musical background with family. Talk about your start.
Well, everybody in my family either sings or plays an instrument. Like I grew up, family barbecues would turn into jam sessions. Everybody always had an instrument on them. So when I was a kid and I used to go to other people's houses, I was like, everybody don't sing. Like, everybody,
y'all don't do what we do.
Like, so, you know, my grandmother was Juilliard trained and she was a cabaret singer in the city. Like I still have her cabaret license from when you needed a license in the 1960s.
Oh, wow.
To
Wow.
perform. And her name, funny enough, was actually Shirley Temple.
Wow.
Yes.
Amazing.
So I grew up under her tutelage pretty much. You know, her training me and having to listen to all these people who I was like, who are all these old people at the time? But now, I mean, she had me listening to Sarah Vaughan, Billie Holiday, Oleta Adams, Barbara Streisand. Like, we listened to these things back to back to back. There were so many people, I won't even name names. I don't want to disrespect any of today's artists that she could not stand. Like, you know, so I grew up with that. So, and my dad is a house singer, like a Jersey house, soulful house, underground house. So I really got my touring start with my dad. I was touring at like 13, 14. I don't know how much about house music you know, but like Winter Music Conference, which happens in Miami every March. I was going there. So like I grew up with Barbara Tucker, CeCe Peniston, Little Louis Vega, Lou Gorbea, and like performing in Cielo in the city. And literally I remember my picture being on flyers and like, you know, being there with my dad, and like some places I couldn't get in because I was so young.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I got my start.
That's amazing.
That's a huge start, first of all.
Right.
That's like huge.
Well, I mean, my dad toured with the Sugar Hill Gang. So like
all
these people, so like those are my uncles. Like that's, well, they're, you know, they're friends, but I call them uncles. So it's so weird when you grow up with that. I mean, it's bizarre to me, like how big Barbara Tucker is. You know, people hear deep, deep down inside. And I'm like, I had no idea. I just, you know, it's Miss Barbara. You know, or, you know, when we go out and I see people go crazy over my Uncle Mike, that's Wonder Mike. I'm like, if I hear that song one more time. So it's when you grow up with it, it doesn't feel like it's so big. But now that I'm older, I know these are legendary
how
people.
much is the impact?
Yeah.
Because that's the one thing. Because I definitely wanted to ask you, because I mean you already addressed it, but that, like, you know, did you really understand how, you know, in depth and legend, like the legends you're around, especially your dad, and really, you know, and now that you're older, like you said, you fully get it. But I mean, now that you think about it and you look back on it, like how crazy is it that feeling to know, like, wow, I was really like under the wing of these individuals?
Yeah.
My dad was always, because my dad was a touring artist, he would come home and show us pictures of the people that he was with. And we would be so excited. And he was like, if they don't cut you a check, you shouldn't be excited. They're just humans, just like you and I. Like he didn't like all that fanfare. And I think probably the only person I ever, like, I didn't care, I just got excited for anyway, was Lauryn Hill. My twin identical cousins were going on tour with her to sing backgrounds for her during the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. So this is like when the Virgin Megastore, you remember that?
Yes.
In Times Square. Yeah.
And
down in Times Square.
Right.
Yep.
That big one. And they used to have lines out and they would do signings.
Yeah.
I remember the line being down the street and my two cousins walking, me and my sister, into the Virgin Records Megastore, down the escalator, I mean, past all these people, and just walking right up to Lauryn Hill. And I was like, like,
I would have been like,
I was like,
give me a minute.
Yeah.
I was little. This is like, I was all of 10. So, but we loved Lauryn Hill. Like me and my sister, we loved the Fugees. So when Lauryn Hill went solo, that was like the one person. But my dad never made it a big deal. So we didn't make it a big deal either, you know?
Got it. Yes.
Now, at what point did you know that, okay, this is what I want to do as a career?
Oh, I was like 5.
Oh, wow. You knew that young?
Oh, yeah. And I will never forget, because I was sitting in my room playing with my Barbies with my sister. And, you know, parents, you know, ask you random questions. I said, you know, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I was like, oh, I want to be a singer. And my mom was like, no, but like, what do you really want to like do, you know, as a career? I was like, I want to sing. And if I can't sing, I'd rather die. I remember telling her that like to the T. And she said, "Oh no, not you too." Because my father like, oh God. And I still feel that way to this day. There's not a time that I don't remember saying like being a singer is the only thing that I want to do.
But it's like it was bound to happen. Like, look how you grew up. Like,
it's in the blood. Well, I mean, I guess not necessarily, because if I hid my face and I brought my sister on, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference between our voices. Our voices are identical. We look completely different, but our voices are identical. And my sister sings crazy like me, and she has no interest in doing it.
Really?
Nope. So, you know, it depends.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh man, I'm blown away. So basically, I mean, that's an amazing story. Basically how you got started, you know, definitely understanding and knowing what you wanted to do at the tender age of 5. So now fast forward, you're older, you're able to get into clubs, you're performing at some of the most top-notch places in New York, SOBs, Village Underground, all these different locations. I came across a clip. You kind of you did the thing. You did not Marsha Amoroso's Floetry.
I was gonna say He Loves Me, Ezel and E flat.
I thought it was Say Yes, wasn't it?
Oh, Say Yes. Oh.
Say Yes. And with Music Soul Child, he was on the stage with Music Soul Child, and the notes that you basically poured out. I mean, talk about your experiences really just trying to maneuver really through the city and being at these different spots, these popular spots, and really putting your voice out there to the audience.
As I got older, I understood that, see, I'm not the most social person. Like, I don't like to go out and party. I'm not a drinker. I'm social when you meet me one-on-one, but I'm not like going to a room and I'm just going to meet everybody. Like, I'm not that type of person. And, but I did understand that there were certain places I had to go to, certain events I had to go to, if there were R&B events, you know, just to be in the room, just for people to see your face, even if you don't speak to them the first time. You know the scene, you get to learn who people are. And it's crazy that you mentioned that SOB's clip from when I was with Music Soul Child, because that night was one of those, it was Music Soul Child, he's at SOB's, okay, let's go, you never know who's going to be there. And it was like the part of his show where he was like, we got any singers in the building? And I was with this boyfriend at the time, and I was like, oh, me. And I was wearing a velour sweatsuit and my hair was in a bun, and I was like, me. And I didn't think he would actually call me. And then I realized the bass player knew me and was like, yeah, get her.
Oh, wow.
And that's crazy. Actually, I don't want to say that's how I kind of it's really how I got started doing shows in the city, because I came up there and sang, and by the time I was done singing, when I came off the stage, someone else, a gentleman named Richard Johnson, was putting on a show at the time called Soul Factory at Drum, which I don't even know if Drum's even open. And he said,
I went to Drum like years ago.
Yeah,
he said, I would love for you to do my monthly R&B showcase. And I said, well, I can't do your showcase if I don't have any music out. And it was sponsored by a blog called You Know I Got Soul. And they said, if you want to do the show, you have to have music out. And that's what pushed me to put my first EP out like a couple months later. And I did his show. And then from there, I just picked up Soul Village, which used to be at SOB's, which was when Eric Roberson was hosting.
Yes, yeah.
Music Matters. And I just kept picking up shows like a domino effect.
Wow.
So that Music Soul Child moment really
sparked
put
it.
People's faces. I was just going to watch a show.
But it was so funny because you hear the voices in the background, from the tape, because it looked like someone was doing it. Obviously they were doing it from their cell phone. So, or whatever it was. And you hear the voices in the background and just wow, what? Oh, it was just so it was just blowing people away. But what I'm sorry, Danielle, you got a question?
Go ahead.
I wanted to kind of piggyback. So with all the performances and all of, you know, now you at this point, you understand, okay, I'm motivated to put my music out here. What would you say would be the most, you know, performing at either one of these shows would be the most, like, you know, I guess not sincere, but most intimate, like, I guess, I can't even think of the word I want to use. Like, I guess, like, what would be the most one where that you took to, like, one of your best performances, or say, like, this is something that was just so sacred to me, of all of these performances?
Maybe my first BET Music Matters showcase. That was, I felt like, when I was most in my groove, because I still had some people in my family were in my band. My uncle, who's now, he passed from COVID this past year. He was
I didn't hear that.
And I was playing keys. It was, you know, when you get into the industry, I feel like they slowly kind of whittle away at you and your vision if you allow it. And I was so green, and I really just did exactly what I wanted to do. I came out, so I was playing keys. My uncle, who was the music director, was playing keys. Then I had my other guy, Anthony, playing keys. I had horns. I had percussion. I came out with a full
band.
Like, full band, the way my family raised me to do it, you know. And it was just it was just a moment, you know. I was new and I was just figuring it out. But I've had so many moments, like when I did oh my goodness, Centric did Black Music Month in June, every June.
Yes.
And they were celebrating with Black women artists, and it was myself, Ali Caldwell, Susie Q, but she goes by maybe Kiana now, and oh my goodness, what's that gorgeous girl? She played Faith Evans in the Biggie movie.
Oh my goodness,
I know you're talking about. I can't think of the name.
Exactly who she. I see her face. Yes, because I actually had the opportunity to meet her. Yes.
Yeah, it was us, and we all did it, and they actually ended up putting it on TV. That show, when I did that show, that was when I felt like I could do anything. And it was the first show that I was doing post chemo, and I was like, I can do anything. Like, if I can come back from that and put on a show and kill it, I can do anything. That to me was a moment.
Man.
That is, wow.
Don't cry, Danielle.
I'm not gonna cry.
Okay.
I'm just saying, that's just like beautiful. Like, you post chemo, and like you're like you feel unstoppable. Like, you do like literally anything and everything, and like you just didn't let that stop you.
I stood on stage and I was like, God, I finished the whole set, and I introduced the band, and nobody knew in the audience. You know, it was just a random audience that was there. Nobody knew who I was or knew my story or anything. And I was like, y'all, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm just grateful to be alive, and I'm so glad to be back here. You know, this is my first show post chemo, and you felt it kind of like go through the room. People like, did she just say chemo? Right. And I was cancer free now. I'm glad to be back. Like, it was such a moment, you know. I'll never forget that.
How many years has it been?
This year, actually this month will make 5 years.
Oh, amazing. Amazing. Look at God.
Oh no. Well, I wanted to kind of go into because I didn't want to like have everybody like go emotional, but I wanted to kind of go into, like, I know that you're a nurse, and Happy Nurses Week, by the way. You're an RN. How was that? Because like you were basically on like the front lines, and we thank you for that. How was that? Like, how did that affect as far as like your creativity when it came to, you wanted to do music but still kind of balance that out when you're on the front lines?
Well, everything that was normal about my life completely stopped, because for years I was balancing nursing and music, and I worked my schedule around my gigs and made my schedule, and it worked out great. And in 2019, my schedule was getting so overwhelming. I was working in the hospital less and less and less, and sort of like 1 day a week, maybe 2 days in this week. Maybe they wouldn't see me for 3 weeks. I come back. Because I made my own schedule, I had the flexibility to do it. And I finally said, you know what? I can't do this. Like, I need to step away from nursing. And if I'm ever going to take a chance on, you know, music was my entire income at that point. I said, I got to take a leap and do it. And what's the worst that can happen? I always have my nursing jobs. I never leave. I go per diem. I work per diem, so I make my own schedules anyway. So it always worked out for me, because if you ever leave the country for a couple of months and you come back and you want to work the next day, you just call and say available. So it's a great job to have. But I said, I'm going to step away and I'm not going to give you guys any hours, and I'm going to go live my dream. And I mean, I was gone, and COVID hit, and I was overseas. I was on the Whitney Houston Hologram tour. And it was my first international tour, because I had been touring with Deborah Cox. I sing backgrounds for her. And I was finally getting the swing of it. I was in dressing rooms every night. And I remember my coworkers FaceTimed me, and I was in an arena on the stage for sound check, thousands of seats. And I'm like, guys, this is my dressing room. Like, this is what I do. And they're like, oh my God, like, this is the real deal. Like, you're really on tour. And once COVID hit, I was getting message after message from my coworkers, like, this person's sick, this person's sick, this person died. And I was like, what's going on? And I was in Europe. Slowly the gigs started to get canceled. And then once the travel ban was put into place, you can imagine a touring crew of 30 people.
Right.
We're in Brussels, and we see a travel ban. And some of the people that were in our travel crew only had U.S. visas. So if we didn't get back in the country, they weren't going to be allowed back in the country. So when I tell you,
was there like a certain time, like, you had to be back?
Yes. Or, well, U.S. citizens could always get in. But if you were just a visa holder, you would have to go back to your country of origin if you didn't get back in, it was like 48 hours.
Oh, wow.
So coming home was a complete gear shift. Like, I left costumes, hair, makeup, thousands of people a night. And I got off the plane at JFK, and literally when I turned my cell service on, I already had messages from the hospital. If you are here, if you're in the country, we need help, and we need help like now. I'm like, what is going on? I got coworkers sending me pictures of my hospital, and it doesn't look anything like what I left it. Tarps everywhere, people dying in a hallway. I'm like, what is? So I went from a very glamorous lifestyle to making a complete U-turn, and I worked the COVID ICU. So my patients were the worst of the worst. Everybody was intubated, on a ventilator, could not breathe on their own, was not conscious, and the majority of them died. So, you know, I remember looking at the monitor when I got back, and I was like, oh, like, it looked like the most intense math equation, because I had just removed myself to do music and be creative, and then back to such a dire situation. And then on top of that, I had family members dying. So it was a lot to attempt to juggle. So I had to completely, like, put music to the side. There was no doing music. I was just trying to save people's lives. I'm pumping on people's chests all day. I was really emotional. I'm sure I was at some point depressed. I think I was just blank at some point. You know, the things I saw, I never want to see again. And I really feel for my coworkers and all healthcare workers, frontline workers, essential workers, especially people who work in medical, because you're trained to deal with stuff, but you're not. It's like being at war.
Yeah, COVID, like, nobody really knew, like, how do you make it stop?
And so to leave the hospital, and I think, I guess I could say I had a level of resentment towards some of my music colleagues. I was seeing do such irresponsible things. I was seeing people still trying to have jam sessions, still trying to go out somewhere, gathering at people's houses, still I'm still working no matter the pandemic. I'm in the studio. And meanwhile, I'm pumping on somebody's chest, like, be responsible. Or especially my music colleagues who were like, this is a hoax, these are crisis actors. And I'm like, I am you and you are me, and this is not fake. I wish it was.
Like, you're there, you're trying to
Yeah,
bring
so
people, to life, and they're there from
there are
COVID.
people during this pandemic that got the unfollow button for me that probably still don't even know it. And after what I just went through for a 12-hour shift, and I got to come home and see your ignorance because you're home looking at Google or reading some conspiracy, so I have no time. Like it was, yeah, just. But the blessing was music is always my go-to. So I spent a lot of time at home. The only thing I could do was pick up my guitar. So I played my guitar constantly. I mean, for hours. My poor husband, he's probably so tired of that guitar. And I would just sit upstairs and record. That was all I did. So
yeah, that's like a form of healing.
Yeah, I had a project ready to go before I even left for a tour. But it gave me a chance to listen to it, reevaluate, take stuff away, add to it, probably overthink it quite a bit.
As creatives do.
Yeah.
As we do, but it's been an intense year, and I tried not to put too much pressure on myself to be productive, because I think that's what a lot of people do. They felt like, okay, I'm never going to get time like this again. And I was seeing posts of people saying, like, if you don't come out of this pandemic with a whole new album, and if you don't come out with, I don't know, X greatest invention, telling people that, like, if you weren't creative, then you wasted your time. I mean, people are literally traumatized this year. If you just made it out alive and healthy, and you did nothing, good for you. However you made it.
Yeah.
And if making it
absolutely
that you're going to create great music, great. But if you can't, I get it.
And a lot of us are we still suffer from that depression of how, like, COVID was and everything. We have a lot of post trauma from it.
Yeah,
and this month is mental health month as well, and I think that if we haven't stressed mental health to the fullest, because it's so much, and you had so many family members that passed away. I have friends that have gotten sick, or some family members that have passed away, and like you said, to kind of go through, because being the person of creative arts and be in the industry and really seeing people, like you said, to get on social media, because I had to take a break. I'm just personally telling you, like, I had to take a break from social media. I had to take a break just for sometimes even just watching the news, because it was just like, dog, every day. And I do work in the medical field, and I'm not a nurse, but I work on the administration side, and just to see what the other staff was going through, and seeing them fall in the hallway on their knees, like crying, and just to see that it's a lot, like it's so much. And now the coping mechanisms that a lot of people are trying to put in play, you have music. Music is definitely something for me, and to gear off into that, your EP, right? You basically, you went through the pandemic, you're a cancer survivor, and you developed this EP, The Balancing Act, which I feel like that title was so befitting with everything that had transpired, that has been taking place. Talk about really digging into that, and writing and coping with everything that you really had to really incorporate that title with your music.
Well, the crazy part is that project I actually put out in 2017. And that project I wrote while I was on chemo, and it was something just to keep me occupied. So it was quite, everybody's balancing something, right? Even before the pandemic, most women feel like, okay, I'm trying to be, whatever you have going on in your life. You're trying to be a good daughter. You're trying to be a good mom. You're trying to be a good wife. You're trying to make sure you're a great employee. You're trying to be a little bit of something to everybody and still have something for yourself. Whatever it is you're doing, everybody's balancing something. And at the time that I wrote that project, I was living on my own, but I had met a guy that I really, really liked, who's now my husband. And I was falling in love with him. And we had been on a couple of dates, and we were dating for 6 weeks when I got diagnosed with cancer. So it was like, okay, I found the love of my life, and now I've got stage 3 cancer, and I'm still, you know, technically like this single woman. I live alone, and you know, I'm still gotta work. I'm trying to be a nurse. Oh, and I have a music career that like this could completely stop my music career. So I had so many things going on and trying to juggle it and figure out who I was gonna become out of all of that. The balancing act, kind of like, here you go. This is like my journal. This is what I've been feeling and thinking about while I was sick. But it's crazy that even now, you know, the balancing act still very much applies.
Yeah.
And it ended up being a labor of love. I wrote the whole thing, and a lot of people don't know, I produced the entire project with all live instrumentation. Everything you hear is live.
Yeah, no, you can definitely hear that.
They went into the studio. We all went in one day. We did 10 hours in the studio and literally ran each song through like 3 or 4 times. And I took the best take, and I sat there. It was a labor of love. It took months of mixing and adding extra instruments. And that project, I felt like, really elevated my career in ways I couldn't have even imagined. It opened me up to a brand new audience of people who appreciate that kind of music. Because I feel like kind of this brand of R&B that's out now, it's shifting again, but maybe in the past 2 years of like this R&B, it's like a very sing-song, very melodic, but like the words really don't make no sense. There's not really a lot of singing. I can't do it, and as much as I want to, I just can't. So I felt like, all right, I can't fit in there. I'm just gonna do what it is I do, and I guess we'll call this R&B. But you know, I'm gonna do what feels right to me. And I literally got the band together. We rehearsed, and I literally told each person, I want to hear this, because I'm no bass player, but I could tell you what I want. I could sing you what I want the bass to do. I have my friend who plays violin come over, and I want you to do this. And I literally sang it, and he played it. You know, so that's how I got the whole project together. And I swore I would never do it again, but I think I probably will.
No, you should, because you know, you don't hear a lot of, especially like R&B albums, you don't hear any projects that have live bands. Like you don't, everything is all computerized. Like you don't hear that. Yeah.
Like just tech. And I love Carpe Diem. I think the words, and like you said, the you know, what's a lot of, because Daniel and I have had these discussions. I as much as I love music, and I love, you know, that music can trend in a certain way, I think there still have to have some substance when it comes to music. And I think your music is very, you know, very raw and has a lot of substance lyrically. And then you incorporate, and then everything else just falls into place with your sound. And you still, you know, make it, you know, whether if it's fun or just smooth or sexy, because we're going to talk about Bedroom Chronicles, okay? But you have like the depth of what it is lyrically in your music. And I think that's what's very important, and where, like you said, a lot of artists have geared from, because of the fact that we're looking for that trend. So my question to you, to follow up with that, is like, how are you holding your individuality as an artist? Because the music industry, I know you were saying earlier, you know, sometimes artists kind of fall into that, you know, that trying to change that mode. How do you stand firm on that?
Well, I think the easiest way is that I'm a writer. So like, there's no record that you'll ever find out on me that like I didn't write. Everything you hear, I wrote it. You know, I'll have an occasional co-writer, but I always say I'm not really the best co-writer. Like, once I start an idea, it's just mine to finish, and it just is what it is.
Ain't no splits for you.
You know, that's also the benefit, but it's just Hey, that's the chick from The Voice. I see the comments. Yes, that's me.
Yeah. Her name is Felicia Temple. All right, put some respect on her name.
Put some respect on it.
All right, she's not just some chick. She's Felicia Temple. Okay.
Well, I'm a very personal writer, and I am not the fastest writer, but I mean what I write, and I don't like it to just be a bunch of foolishness. So, but as a result of that, there's blowback from that too. You know, I've gotten, you know, people telling me, well, then you should be pushed to like adult contemporary, like you're going to be like with, and no shade to them because they're amazing singers, but you're going to be with like Lettucey and Vivian Green, and you know, but I'm in this odd kind of like, okay, I'm young, people see my body, they look at me, and then they hear the music and they're like
this don't add up.
Right. But they hear the voice and they're like, okay, you belong like, I don't know, like the next song up would be Charlie Wilson. I'm like, no, like I don't want to be there either. Nobody wants to be put in
Uncle Charlie.
Yeah.
No, we love Uncle Charlie, but I'm like,
yes.
Damn, did I get to like Blackpink music? Like, is this is where I'm headed? I'm headed in that lane. But you know what? I might be okay with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yes. But I think the way I keep my focus is because I do the writing and I just want it to feel good. I'm not necessarily looking to like, oh, that's the trend. I'm not doing that. Or, you know, I'm stuck that I have to sound like this, because anybody who listened to, I mean, I have 3 projects out. There's To Whom It May Concern, which came out in 2013, which is like, you can only find that on like SoundCloud.
Right.
There was Bedroom Chronicles in 2014, which was my complete shift to sexy. And then I got sick and I did an entire live project, R&B, adult contemporary vibe. And now I'm going back to like today's R&B with Bedroom Chronicles 2. So like people know that I'm able to do different things. I don't want somebody to hear something and go, that's something Felicia Temple would do. Like I do want to be all over the place. Like I'm currently working on the side on a project with big pop orchestral ballads, like the songs you hear at the end of a movie. Like I want to win an Oscar. You know, these are the things that I'm working on. I just write stuff that's true to me. It feels good. If it's a bop, if it's something you feel like you could hear on you know, your local radio station, great, you know. But if it's not, music is too pure for me. It's cathartic for me. It's a release for me. So if I'm going to start tainting it by doing things that please other people, then it's not the release that it should be. Then it's not pure anymore. I posed a question on my Instagram some months ago and asked artists, do you make music for you or do you make music for other people? And a lot of people admitted like, oh yeah, I used to make music for myself, but that's not what's selling. So I had to do what's selling because, you know, I gotta make money. I gotta do, you know, we have to please the people. And I'm like, when Stevie Wonder was creating songs in the key, did he say, oh no, I can't do this. I can't do this 1 minute intro because the people don't like hearing intro that long. So let me cut this down. Like, did Michael Jackson say, oh, let me see what people like? Okay, they're not going to really like this, so I'm going to do that. No, it used to be the artists gave you their art and it was for you to appreciate. Not for the listener to tell me.
To have the control.
A 20-second intro is too long. A song that's over 3 minutes is too long. That I can't keep my attention. Well, maybe it's not for you. Because the same people who like Cardi B usually don't like Andrea Bocelli. There's an ear for every piece of music. And if people keep bending to fit this box, there's going to be a whole crowd of people who are unsatisfied because they are waiting for that pure art. So that's what I keep in mind.
So just like a follow-up question with that. So like you said, to make music for you and not for like the population and for like your audience. But now how would that go with like labels? Because you know, labels are always, oh, what are the people listening to?
Gotta
You
have a
need
hand in
to,
something.
yeah, you need to keep up with the trends. So like what
Right.
would you say with that?
Well, I think that's when it starts, depending on what your goal is as an artist. My goal was, I never had a goal to be signed.
Yeah.
I just want to be happy, right? So if it's about money, if it's a money game, yeah, I mean, if I really, I could have sold myself out down the river years ago. Like, deals have been on the table and things weren't to my liking.
For sure.
And what I can appreciate is, like, I already drive the BMW that I want. I already make six figures. I can just go to work. Like, you know what I'm saying? I want somebody to tell me what to do and how to do it. I can go right on down to my job where I clock in and there are rules and regulations and they tell me what to do. But when it comes to my music, it's going to be on my terms. And I am not going to dilute it, settle it, turn it into something that you want it to be, because in the end, I have to live with that. There's nothing worse. Like, I'll give you an example. So Bomb Love, you were playing. I like Bomb Love. I wrote Bomb Love. I thought it was about, but to me, it would have just been a cut on the project. Like, it wouldn't have been something that I would have been like, here, world, this is the single.
Right.
It's not my vibe. I don't even really dance like that. I can give you a two-step, but don't give me no choreography. But there were a bunch of people who were kind of semi on my team at the time, and everyone who heard this record was like, that's the record, that's the record, that's the record, that's gonna go, that's gonna go, that's gonna go. So here I went and put that record out. And did that record do well by any means? Not really. So here I am, and I have to stand behind something and promote something that I'm not really even in love with. So how does you go and you do something that you're not even in love with, and by your standards it fails, right? You can't even stand behind it authentically because you really don't believe in it like
something
that.
You wanted to put out in the first place.
Right. But now you're the one that has to stand there and look stupid when it fails. Like, well, you put it out. You should love it. And it's like, I was just doing what somebody else told me because they told me that
told you to do.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't a good look, so now, like, there are lessons that you learn along the way, but I'm grateful that I can say no to things that I know a lot of people don't have the privilege of saying no to, simply because I have another career. For money, people will do a lot of things. Like, I know, if I could be honest, if I was a whore, I could be in a very different place. If you open your legs to the right people, if you say the right things to the right people, if you're willing to do certain things, you'll get a lot of places. And I know a lot of people who've done those things. But that's not worth my peace. And I am exactly where I'm supposed to be. And what feels good to me, I think a lot of people go into music with like, oh, I want to be famous. Like, like I'm going to be famous. But famous, you could have like 30 million followers on Instagram and like not be making
money.
Yeah.
Like success, like fame does not equal money. And success is different in everybody's book. And to me, if you keep waiting for something to say, oh, I'm successful. Like, I remember when I would be like this interview could be my all in all for the year. Like, when these things were my goals, that somebody would actually want to talk to me and hear what I have to say. Right. And then at some point you get to a point where it's just like, okay, I'm doing interviews. And like, your goals get bigger and bigger and bigger. And you never stop to just appreciate where you are. Right. Because we're always looking for the next big thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you feel like, damn, am I ever going to be happy? Am I ever going to be successful? But you don't realize that, like, the things you used to pray for and wish for and have on your to-do list, you're doing them.
You're
doing
it
it
right now.
Exactly.
Right? So this year has been a great pullback because I've been able to say, oh my God, when I look back at the things that I've done, the things that I'm still able to do, I'm so blessed. And if I never get the Grammy that I've always dreamed of or the Oscar that I've always dreamed of, the goal was always to make music that I love. And that's what I do. Somebody set me straight. They said, what's your goal in life? What you want to do? Like, and I was like, oh, I want to sing. Like, I want to make money doing music. And they were like, don't you do that already? And I was like, I do. Right? We're always looking for something so major. We're always waiting for our peace.
But it's like, when does it become enough?
Yeah, right. We always put our peace and happiness. And you say, I won't be happy until I get whatever it is. And you find yourself putting off your peace for something ridiculous. Because when you get it, you're only happy for about 2 days. And then you're like, okay, what can I do next?
What's next? That is something. Oh man, that was the. With that being said, where do you foresee basically like the music industry especially when it comes to R&B music? Because, like we said, right now, there is this trend that's happening. Where do you see it down the line in the future?
I think, R&B is blossoming right now. I feel like, especially in the last 6 months, there are a lot of people that are finally like coming through with a musicality and not just like people who know their theory. They're about writing. They play instruments. Like, it's really, really nice to see. Of course, everybody knows her plays a gazillion and one instrument, right? She rides a very fine line, right? She don't take off no clothes. She plays a lot of instruments, but she also does the R&B that people like, right?
And she lets her voice speak for herself.
Exactly.
But it even took her. I remember when she came out as Gabby Wilson, and I heard her record on the radio, and I said, "This is a bop." But it was on WBLS, which is more like contemporary, whatever.
Yep.
She did the BET Awards when they had a Music Matters stage, and she came out and she played the hell out of this guitar that she had. And it was going to commercial break. Like, they literally cut her off. And I was like, who would cut that off? Like, nobody was listening to her. Nobody was paying any attention. And the first singles were kind of like a flop.
That sound.
She went back and rebranded and said, I'm going to hide my whole self. Nobody's going to see me.
Yes.
Rebranded, took her name away, and it worked out. But the girl plays like so many different instruments. She does all her writing. You got like Masego. He plays
the saxophone.
Like the trumpet, the saxophone. He plays horns. Like, these people are coming out like out the woods. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I like a lot of what I'm hearing. Sorry, did I pause for a second? Alex Isley, everybody knows Alex.
Oh, I love her. Love her.
Love
her.
Incredible. Okay, she like writes and produces like everything. Like, the only other person who get credit is like her father, Ernie Isley, playing the guitar on you know what I'm saying? It's like ridiculous. So like, when you see that, yes, I want to see more of that. I think the hardest part is the people don't have someone behind them getting the exposure, because we see these playlists. Like, I'm sure a lot of the people you listen to or playlists that you enjoy, the music just comes on and that's how you find a new record. But
that's how I found about Alex Isley. I was like, who is this?
But playlists is to payola.
Yeah.
So these labels are paying the streaming systems to make their artists the first song on the playlist and to make them the cover of the playlist. They're paying TikTokers to dance to the new record, because if you're an influential TikToker, what's that girl's name? Danielle, whoever, I don't know, the girl that does all the dances, and
there's so many of them.
There's so many, I can't keep up.
Right. So they pay them and say, this is the new song, and make up a dance because you got how many millions of followers. And when the kids see you dancing, then they're going to dance. Then the song, you know, so there's like a whole different system that you're playing against. You're not even worried about radio now. You're trying to get on the playlist.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
playlist, TikTok, Instagram, everything.
But the artists are there. I can't tell you how many people I ask sometimes in my stories, like, yo, just send me an artist that you love, that you feel like people aren't on, and I'll listen. I'm like, how did I not hear this before? And it'll have like 200 streams or something. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, this is so good. So the artists are there. It's them getting the exposure. That's the hard part.
Yeah. Because I feel like, this is why I love how our platform is, because we do support a lot of independent artists. I feel like there's a lot of independent artists that have extremely good music, better than some of these major label artists that they got signed.
Yeah.
And
especially
not
ones that we interviewed,
their craft or anything of that nature and what they're doing, but I just, you know, I'm just about real talent, like we're pure, not no studio, let me tweak this, put you here, throw you on the 808 or whatever the deal is, kind of spill. Like, but just real, like, pure, like, because if you would take away the music and like you got on stage and it was your voice, it was just the pure talent, just the emotions, to see it and really feel it. Like, can you give that to me? Like how you give that to the audience? Because a lot of people can't do that. They can't do that.
And more than that, I think there's a lot of, I think I feel bad sometimes for like some of the bigger R&B artists, like a Ari Lennox or a SZA, yeah, or Lizzo, or like you see these women who are making great music and then they're having like social media meltdowns where they're like, I quit. Like each one, Chica, just like 2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
Right. So people want to know like why this is happening. But imagine, or Summer Walker, right? So when Summer Walker originally came out, Summer Walker plays the hell out that guitar. How often see her pick up that guitar, right? She has become, you know, she's gotten this plastic surgery, right? The voice is still there, the talent's still there. But who this industry forces you to become in order to be successful, it's like, it's terrible. You see people like, you know, I just quit. Or when Ari Lennox didn't win the what was it, like a BET award or whatever it was, Soul Train Award.
Train Award, I think it was.
So won like over Ari, it was like something like that. And you see them talk about like, you know, they're bullied on social media or this and that. It's like, these are the things that if I ever get to that point of fame, God willing, if I become as successful in terms of numbers as they have, I want to know that I got there on my own terms, and that you can stand a lot firmer as a person if you know you did what you wanted to do, not what somebody else made you do, or, you know, music somebody else made you sing because you got a contract and you got to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Right. So really quickly, this is such a great, we love this conversation. I'm quite sure we can go on and on all night. Because it's just amazing just to hear everything that you're saying and just give a lot of gems, because we have a lot of artists that do follow us, indie artists that follow us, and they love tuning in, and, you know, definitely go and look at the rebroadcast. I wanted to touch base on The Voice. So I remember that's when I actually first saw you. And you basically did this rendition of Etta James. You know, kind of talk about that. I know Danielle has some questions on you know, that as well. Kind of touch base on that, like basically what really made you to kind of get into the competition.
That was not something that I was looking to do. I had no interest in reality television whatsoever. They called me out the blue.
Oh wow.
Called my phone and said please, and initially I just said no, like no thank you. And I guess they don't really get a lot of no. They're like, well, consider it, we need you to look at the and I said no, and they're like, we're already done with casting the season, like, because what a lot of people don't realize is like there's the public auditions, like the big auditions that, like, you know, you see these cattle calls, thousands of people.
Yeah, everybody in line
trying to get a spot. Then you go back for callbacks after that. They break it down even more. At the same time, after that, there are private auditions that go on that, like, the labels have connects and people right? So you go to those, right? And then you do like a green screen test. And then you wait 6 weeks, and then you get flown. You find out whether or not you made it through there. Then you go to LA and you do the executive producer auditions. And then from there, they separate you and you find out whether yes or no you'll come back to do the part where the chairs turn. They did all that and were like ready to send the people to LA for the chair turning. And they were like, we've already casted the season. We really want you. And I said, well, I'm on chemo, so no. And I think that, like, even made them like, well, how sick are you? Like,
oh my God.
It's terrible TV, and it's real. You know, like, they love a story. I still had my hair. I didn't look sick, but I was on chemo. And they said, we'll do whatever you have to do. We'll get you treatment out here. Can your doctor sign off? Can you come? And I actually my chemo ended up ending a month early because I was doing so well. And no, you're cleared. You can go. And I was very against doing any kind of reality TV because I didn't want to, like, commercialize this, or I guess kind of what I felt like ended up happening. People feeling like, oh, you got your start on The Voice. And I was like, I've been doing this for, like, you know, but it happens. You know, you get into an audience of millions of people and they feel like that's where you got your start. No matter how much music you have out or what you've done, they feel like you started there. My dad said, you're not doing anything else. It can't hurt. Go for it. And it changed my life.
Amazing. I didn't know that, like, record companies, like, they'll reach out to, like, shows like The Voice to get the art. I did not know that. I thought, like, everything was like, all right, you have to audition and then you go from there. Wow.
And I mean, there are very few people that happens to, and you do get scares when you arrive, because I just mentioned all those rounds. So imagine you go through all those rounds and you start meeting people, you know everybody's face. So when you get to LA for the part where the chairs turn, you met these people several times, and, like, y'all kind of bonded. You know, they do little singing kumbaya circles, y'all met. So here I arrive and they're like, who are you? And I'm like, I don't know, they call my phone. You know, so
I was like, no, she didn't.
They casted extra people. I thought they had everything they need. And but it, you know, it ended up working out. It didn't, I never had a goal to win. I would have wanted to make it further. But I came away with an understanding of television and what it entails. And when I look back at, like, all the pros and all the cons, the good outweighed the bad. I'm sure I have some, as I'm sure all the contestants do, a little bit of PTSD from the experience and the things that you see and the things that you can't talk about or you'll get sued for $10 million. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, are there some cons that you can speak about, or? We don't want you to get sued.
Probably probably the thing that bothered me the most was not being able to choose the song that you sing. That really bothered me because I feel like people, the biggest comments that I got, especially after I was kicked off, was, why did she sing that song? That song don't even go with her voice. What made her choose that? And it's like, I didn't even know that song. Like, I had to do Defying Gravity from Wicked, which is a Broadway song. And you do give them lists. You give them lists of, like, your dream songs that you want to sing. And luckily, Etta James, All I Could Do Is Cry was a song I wanted to do. Celine Dion, My Heart Will Go On was always a song I wanted to do. Titanium was a song I wanted to do, not as a duet, but it ended up being that way. So, but Defying Gravity, I remember I spent 2 hours on a dream list, and I was ready to sit down and play some piano. And for some reason, they would never let me play it. And other contestants, you know, you've seen the show, get to play their instruments, and that's something else that I can't talk about, but I couldn't play my instrument. So, but at the time when you're there, it's kind of like you're in the Twilight Zone. So, you know, you're hidden away from the world and you're trying to figure out this game, but like, it's not until you get kicked out, you can't see what's going on. When you get kicked out, you're like, oh, that's what they did. But at the time I said, oh, okay. So first round I did R&B. I killed the old school, you know, the soul genre. And then I did Titanium, which is a top 40 pop hit. And then I did Celine Dion, which is like a classic. I mean, everybody knows that song. And then I did Broadway. So they're trying to show that I could do any kind of genre.
Everything.
But not everything isn't for everybody.
Right. And I thought to myself, wow, I'm the only person on this show who could do all these genres and kill it. But you know, I guess America or the producers or whoever didn't feel the same way. So home I went. But
that's okay.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, you get to keep the outfits. You don't get to keep the hair though. Can I tell y'all that? Do you know I had some fabulous hair the night of the live show? I got all this hair. So you're already upset. You just got kicked off national TV. And do you know there's a hairstylist chasing after you to get that hair?
No, they are not.
Yes, there is. They take your weave after you done lost. They take the clip-ins right out. I was like, come on. It's been a day. Y'all gonna take my hair too?
You're really gonna take the clip-ins? Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, what else do y'all want? Like,
it's a sad night. Let me tell you. You don't want to get kicked off.
You think your emotions already hurt because you got voted off, but then you taking my weave? Nah, y'all have to give me something for my troubles.
Yes. I would listen. I would
gotta give me something for my troubles.
They would have.
Let me tell you. I know one person who actually ran off with their hair. Like, yo, you're not getting.
Yeah,
and the first thing is, of course, you
repo the hair.
It was hashtag bye Felicia. People were like, I've been waiting for weeks to say this. Hashtag bye Felicia when I got kicked off.
Oh my gosh. I cannot. But question, would you anybody who is looking to go on to like a televised like show like The Voice or American Idol, do you recommend that for like somebody who's looking to set their career or broaden their career?
I wouldn't say I'd recommend it, but I wouldn't tell anybody, oh no, don't do that. My biggest suggestion is always know who you are before you get there, because if you think that you're going to go there and they're going to give you a personality, they're going to give you your look, they're going to give you your sound, they're not. You're going to leave with exactly what you came with, not even no extra hair. So you better figure it out before you get there, because the next thing you know, they'll have you twisted and turned into something that you don't even want it. Like when I look back even at the catalog of songs that I sang, I'm like, none of this is me. None of this represents. So now even on my all DSPs, Spotify, Apple Music, or whatever, you see Bedroom Chronicles and then you see Defying Gravity. It's like it doesn't even go. It doesn't even, with my catalog, people are like, I don't even know if this is the same person. Because I went there and was just willing to do anything to play the game. Now there are people who flat out, I'm not singing that song. And you can go ahead and send me home, but I'm not singing. So
Did they get sent home?
No. But at the time, you don't know that. You find out later that they fought for their song choice. But me, I was trying to be the good egg and like
go along with the process.
But this is why I am the way I am now about my music. Like, you're not going to sway me, because I don't want to look like something. Here I was singing a Broadway song and I got kicked off anyway, doing what they wanted me to do. So I should have done what I wanted to do anyway, So you learn your lessons, but I wouldn't tell anybody not to do it, because you get a great experience from it. You really do. And you meet some incredible people. Vanessa Ferguson, who made it to the top 8 of that season, is like one of my close friends. Like, I went to her wedding. Like, we are good friends. We talk all the time. So you meet some incredibly talented people.
Okay.
So this was such an amazing interview. I thank you so much for sharing a lot of just gems, realness. what's next? I mean, what is your focus? Because I know you talked about Bomb Love, because that was actually the latest single that was put out. So what are you looking to to reshape yourself or put out for 2021?
Well, Bedroom Chronicles 1 came out in 2014, and everybody has been asking me when Bedroom Chronicles 2 is coming. They're like, there has to be part 2. And so part 2 is coming. I just shot the first music video the other. So I am so excited. The project is done. It's ready to go. It's mastered. I just want to make sure that I roll it out properly so that it gets the love it deserves, because there's nothing worse than working on something for so long and then like nobody sees it. You put it out and nobody sees it. So I'm just trying to make sure I, cross all my T's and dot all my I's. So Bedroom Chronicles 2 is what's in the works for 2021, and more videos, music videos, live performance videos, virtual performances, and hopefully back in person performances.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Let me tell you, because sis, you did your thing. I'm real kind of good. I mean, like I said, all your music, you do your thing of. But Bedroom Chronicles, I was like, oh, she got the woman. Okay.
Oh, and Bedroom Chronicles 1, I was in a different place. I was single and I was a savage. I'd take your man, tell him to send him on home to the morning. I was bad. So now,
but now you're a married woman,
right? I'm a married woman, but I think you'll enjoy where this project comes from, because I think a lot of people, I'm not going to keep y'all long, I swear, but I just have to say, I think, we're in this age of like, everybody wants to see the engagement, right? They want to see the moment where you get the ring on your finger and everybody's waiting to go, ooh, fiance, I'm going to be somebody. Yes. Nobody ever talks about, yeah, I'm engaged and, I love my husband, but like that one guy, if he calls my phone, I might have to pick it up. And I know I have good. And Lord, I'm sorry, because it's always the men, right? Like, no woman ever talks about that. It's just like, oh, I'm so happy. I'm in love, black love it, right? Nobody ever says like, oh my God, please don't call my phone. I might have to block you, because if you call me, I'm going to pick it up. And maybe I shouldn't be here right now, but for some reason I can't go home. And I know I need to go home because my man, he's a good man. He's a good man.
That's like, that temptation.
Right. These are things that you're telling yourself. So originally it was going to be called Bedroom Chronicles 2 Plan B, as in Plan B the pill, as in Plan B you might need to get another man. Like, it was going to go off the deep end, because I'm real,
I love it. I love it.
So it's coming from a new perspective of like the old Felicia was single and was just sassy, do whatever.
I'll take your man.
Yeah.
Hey.
Now it's from a different place. I'm in love, but sometimes you want to be like
you ain't gotta say it, sis. You ain't gotta say it. You know it.
I get it. What? Listen, Felicia Temple, thank you so much for definitely taking the time to really sit with us. I know we had some difficulties in the beginning, but this interview was so bomb.
Well worth it.
It was well worth it. I love the energy. I love the vibe. I love just for us to stay connected. We are a true supporter of your music.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, hands down, you got it. I love it, and we appreciate it because you have that music that's just longevity.
Thank you so much. Thank y'all for having me. This was like the funnest interview. Like, it was so easy to talk to y'all. It was a good time. Thank you for having
me. No problem. I remember when you was doing really quickly. I remember when I started, like, when I got on Instagram and everything like that, I was like, all right, I'm doing my business and things of that nature. And I get on your lives. I used to be in the comments like, one day I want to do an interview with you.
And now look.
Like, oh yeah, just DM me.
Yeah, and I was like, dog, and I was like, it took a couple of tries, but I said, I'm so excited that I was able to be able to really speak with you. And it's all in God's timing. So, and I really loved it. The conversation was so dope tonight. Definitely, we're going to have this. So guys, if you tuned in late or or just, you know, you go on our page, you happen to see it, guys, we're going to have it on our YouTube channel and also on our IGTV. So you're able to rewatch if that's the case. But, I mean, thank you so much. Please let them know where they can find you for those who are new to this.
Absolutely. You follow me on Instagram at Felicia Temple, on Facebook at Felicia Temple Music, Twitter at Felicia Temple. All my music is available on all streaming platforms. Anywhere you listen to music, you can find my music. Bedroom Chronicles 2 will be coming soon. So hold on to your panties.
What? Get a plan B, girl.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much. You're such a vibe. So guys, once again, thank you so much for tuning into another special edition of our Indie Talks. I mean, thank you. I'm so super excited. So guys, you already know what it is. You join us here every single Thursday, 7 p.m. For our sit down with our one-on-one intimate conversations. It's nothing but what?
Real music, real style,
real people. And we have nothing but the realest. And I thank you so much, Felicia Temple, for once coming through and keeping it 100. All right. So guys, you already know what it is. So guys, until next time, all right, it's nothing but peace, love, and chicken grease. Peace.
Bye.